How do you walk away from a man you love without really leaving him? In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how. I'm going to teach you my 4 dimensions of walking away from a man that you love without really leaving him, and make it so he misses you, feels that connection again, and the two of you can rebuild and grow strong together. So, hi everyone, I'm Adrienne Everheart. I am the original feminine energy expert here on YouTube. And in this video, I'm going to share my top blogs on why walking away works and some new tools and methods I have for you regarding walking away, especially if you want commitment, you want to be married, you want a commitment ceremony of some sort, or maybe you want to start having a family, planning a family to have a baby, or you're moving into your retirement years or later in life, and you want to connect and keep that man you really love and desire, and you know that walking away will probably be part of it. Now, I have a theory that walking away from a man is almost absolute, especially over age 40, or if you have a man who is stalled more than once or made a promise about getting married or engaged more than once, and then the offer was just off the table. So stay tuned. I'm going to teach you the 4 dimensions. The last one is the dimension of fantasy. Stick around for that one because it is going to blow your mind how well it works, especially with men who will not commit. Now, first, I want to take a moment and tell you about these super cute bracelets I'm wearing. They are from OTTER Spirit. And I use them often to help me stay grounded in my feminine energy, particularly my rose quartz. So let's start with that first dimension of walking away. And that is physically walking away from a man. That's easy, right? Well, you don't have to pack your bags, move out, uproot your whole life to really walk away from a man. Instead, physically walking away can be about creating an absence, even while you're in the same room. Something as gentle as leaning your body physically back, or taking a few steps away, sitting down, looking out the window in the car. There are so many ways to physically walk away from a man and create space. I want you to begin to experiment with that. Now, something I do with my rose quartz bracelet from OTTER Spirit is that when I can tell that my energy is leaning in towards my guy, I'm pressuring him, I'm creating a little bit of tension in the relationship in a bad way, I will hold on to this and just kind of gently remind myself to calm down and take space. And that's the grounding energy I get a lot from wearing natural gemstones. They do provide me a little bit of a reminder to lean back, take a few moments, take a few breaths, and create some physical space. Now, you can also create some physical space in terms of a weekend trip alone with your girlfriends, or a visit to your parents, or a new class, or something like that that makes your life rich, full, and juicy. Now, I have a top blog about that below, and I also give you some links where you get a special coupon to save money on getting your own natural gemstone bracelets. All right, so let's move on to the second part of walking away. This is one that I struggle with, and if you are a woman in your masculine energy, you probably struggle with it too, and that is intellectual space. We want to create intellectual space between you and your guy. So let's say that you want to be a wife, you want commitment, you want something from him, and he isn't giving it to you. It's because he's feeling you coming at all angles, even intellectually. And intellectually is the most important part of creating that rich, juicy, full life in terms of you making decisions that intellectually work for you. You're in your mind, you're in your world, you're in your reality, you're not in his. So often I tell women to peel their energy off the man because you're taking up space inside his head with his thoughts instead of being in your body, and that is not attractive. That is not how you get him to wake up and realize what he's losing. Now, when you begin to take intellectual space, it looks like this. If you find yourself thinking about him and he's not in front of you, you're doing it right there. When you're doing your own thing in the world, you want to be in the moment, with the people you are with in the moment, not texting him, not checking him on socials, not talking about him. You want to be where you are intellectually, and he will feel this. Also, you will begin to make some shifts in your energy and your body that will create a great change with this. Now, again, I've got a great set of blogs about why walking away works, and also my digital courses to help you really understand feminine energy and how your energy influences and creates influence on the man. Now let's move on to the next one, which is emotional walking away. Now, you probably mean really very well by emotionally being there for your guy, comforting, showing up, soothing him. But when you create emotional space with a man, this doesn't mean you're cold hearted, you're turning off the love and you're ignoring him. It means you're creating a little bit of room for him to feel whatever he feels. I call this creating a care bubble. It's a lot like a care package. So when someone is going through something, they've had a bad day or they've experienced maybe even a deeper type of trauma or an event in their life that was just upsetting, or maybe they're just having a bad hair day. When you create that little care bubble, it's space around you created just to let them feel what they're feeling. You're not there to fix it, solve it, offer suggestions, and please, no cliches like, well, at least you still have your health, or at least you can still walk, or at least this didn't happen, this other catastrophic thing. That is toxic feedback. That's what it's called. And I want you to more focus on your care bubble. I'm just letting you have that space to feel what you're feeling. I'm going to show up for you. I make eye contact with you. I nod. I listen. I don't interrupt. And I create open heart space for you. Now, there is more to that little care bubble that I can teach you in some one on one coaching or in some of my other courses. But for now, I want you to begin to experiment with where are you swooping in emotionally when he has a bad mood, when he has something going on, when he responds in a way that you don't like. So, for example, I want to be a wife one day, and he says, oh, we have to talk about this again. I already told you we argue too much. I don't feel comfortable getting married to you when we argue so much. So, how do you emotionally walk away from that point? You go, okay, I understand how you feel, or I hear how you feel. I hear how you feel. I don't feel the same. So you haven't convinced him, you haven't tried to change his mind or anything like that. You have emotionally created space. And then you do your physical space, you turn and you go into another room. This creates space. I want to tell you, these tips work. They sometimes work overnight before you actually have to walk out the door. But they do work, and they can sometimes take a little time because you need to be consistent. He's used to you physically, intellectually, and emotionally, just being right on him. And so now we're changing all of that. And with that change, you didn't get here overnight, but you will start to see results on a consistent basis. So let's move on to the last one, which is my most favorite, which is about fantasy space, creating fantasy space. Now, what does that mean? And has that have anything to do with walking away from a man, getting him to miss you, him feeling the desire to pursue you, claim you, get committed, whatever it may be? Because everything that exists in your world started with some sort of thought or imagery based on a need or desire you had in your body. And if you want to be a wife, there is that need, that longing, that call. If you're ready to start a family and want to have a baby, there's that need and that calling and that desire. So it's there up in here. You might think it's intellectual, but it's also part fantasy because it doesn't exist yet. And I want you to exercise that. I want you to think about the man who's going to meet you at the altar or the commitment ceremony or down at city government, whatever it may be. Think about that man standing there looking at you and see him saying the words, I do. See yourself getting chosen. See a man putting a ring on your finger. See a man saying, will you marry me? See a man wrapping you up in his arms at night and holding you tight. See the two of you sharing a lovely home together, creating a family together. and picking out names for your baby and painting the baby's room a specific color. So it starts with that fantasy. And then from there, amazing things start to happen. You may, and I hope you do, have a little bit of agency and begin to go in that direction, whatever it may be. Telling your partner, I'm not taking my birth control anymore. Or telling your partner, I really want to be a wife one day. Where do you see us going? I notice when I bring this up, you get really upset, and I really want to be a wife. Is there something I need to know? You begin to have that next step. Now, here is the really important part. What goes on with him in the fantasy mind? If you're out having your rich, juicy, full life, you're starting to take a new dance class, or you're taking a night course, or you're doing something different to keep your life rich, juicy, and full. He wonders, who is she talking to? Who is she having conversations with? Who's making her laugh? Who's showing up in her life when I'm at home doing this other thing? He begins to have a fantasy world in his head. And we're not doing this to manipulate him or drive him crazy. But this is how a lot of men, especially men over 40, or if a man has ever told you at least once he wants to marry you, then didn't produce, didn't come through, this man has to be woken up out of the dream to see what he is losing. And these are the tools I teach you in walking away from a man. Now, there are so many other things I can teach you, but I want to leave you with this one, especially to all of you who want to be married and you want to be a wife and your guy is just stalling. All right. And here's a very important thing. When you have the conversation with him, again, let it rest for a while. But then 2, 3 weeks, you bring it back up and you say, I really want to be a wife. And he's like, oh, we've gone over this. I have my ex-wife, I have a mortgage to pay off, I got my kids in college, we still argue too much, we need more therapy, whatever his excuses will be, and he will have them. I want you to be able to say the following in your fantasy world. Well, I really want to be claimed. I want a man who wants to marry me, wrap me up in his arms. I want to take a man's last name and have it my own. Or I want to have a beautiful commitment ceremony where a man and I just stand out in nature and claim each other in front of all our friends and family. And I want to walk into the sunset with a man, or I want to start a family with a man and name our baby and pick out the paint color in the room with a man. A man, not with you. I want it with you. No, I want it with a man. So now we're in the fantasy world, and he starts seeing you. Who's this new joker showing up in my woman's life, having my woman's baby, and doing all these things? He starts seeing that in the fantasy world, and that's exactly the power I want you to realize you have in walking away from a man. We've got intellectually, emotionally, physically, and fantasy. These are some super important tools for that I want you to begin using in your life. You can use them with anyone. And again, this isn't to manipulate someone and get a specific outcome. It is about these are my desires, and it is the beginning of a bigger step, which is walking away for good. And that is nothing that you should be boasting about or using as a bluff or a threat, because it will lose its power immediately. All right, if you want to learn more about why walking away from a man works, check out all my links below and my digital courses as well. And go say hi to the nice people over at OTTER Spirit who make these wonderful, authentic gemstone bracelets. And they also have a lot of other things. You can use my discount code below. All right, everyone, I'm sending you lots of love. Until next time.